Hello and welcome back to Planet of the Capes. I'm Ardella, part-time admin assistant and full-time superhero. This week I've been having so much fun working on the crown and armour for my Zelda costume, and I'm so excited to show you all how it's coming along. I'd also love to answer some of the questions you've been sending in to me, so let's get started. You might remember that a few weeks ago I discovered a new thermoplastic product called Warbler. When I started trying to work out what to create Zelda's armour from, I decided this would be the perfect time to see how Warbler does when it's used to create something a little more complex. I'm pretty happy with how it's working out. Let me show you. I started by creating the crown. First I took a piece of wire just larger than the circumference of my head and I twisted it together at the back. Then I covered the wire in a strip of Warbler to give the detail pieces something to stick to. I studied reference photos of the crown and cut out the leaf shapes individually before heating them up and placing them slightly overlapping. The next step for the crown is a couple of coats of gold paint and some weathering before I can pop on some of the gems that I created last week. Now Zelda's pauldrons had been worrying me a little bit. I wasn't entirely sure how I was going to make them, but after the crown worked so well, I decided to give Warbler a try there too. You can see here I've already cut out the basic shapes and now all I have to do is heat them slightly until they're a little floppy. Then I drape them over my arm to give them the shape I want and hold them like that until they're cool. It shouldn't take very long. After that's done, all I have to do is add the raised details using hot glue or craft foam and a couple of coats of gold paint. While I was researching the best ways to create Zelda's armour, I came across another incredible cosplayer from Germany. Lightning Cosplay has only been cosplaying since 2012, but her talent for creating amazing costumes, armour and props have already turned her into a superstar in my books. She uses a variety of materials to create these pieces, and her use of Warbler is what gave me the idea to try it on some bigger projects myself. The characters she chooses are extremely detailed and she always does them justice. I can't wait to see what she creates in the future. This week's question comes from over on the Kapow YouTube channel. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but they did want to know if I had any face painting tips. Now I'm no expert on face and body painting, but there are a few beginner's tips that I've picked up through cosplay. Probably the first and most important thing to remember about face and body paint is that this is one area you really shouldn't try and cut corners on. You'll be wearing the paint on your face all day if you're attending a convention, and not only can cheap makeup look awkward, but it can cause some nasty skin reactions. I definitely recommend saving up for some professional paint like Krylon or Ben Nye. It is a little more expensive, but your safety and comfort are definitely worth it. If you're cosplaying a character whose entire body is coloured, it might be a good idea to wear a coloured bodysuit instead of trying to paint everything. That way you don't have to worry about paint coming off your hands or onto your costume. I've seen this look really convincing, and it'll save you a lot of time getting ready in the morning as well. When you're wearing body paint to a convention, longevity is key. The best way to make sure that your body paint will stay in place all day and avoid it rubbing off on yourself and fellow attendees is to use a specially made sealant. You can pick this up from the same place as your body paint. If you're using quality paint, it shouldn't be necessary to moisturise right before you start painting. This could even affect the way the paint goes on because your skin would have residue on it. Instead, I'd suggest moisturising and exfoliating a couple of days beforehand to make sure your skin is as smooth as possible for easy application. I hope that helps you out. There are some really cool things you can do with face and body paint and special effects makeup, and I myself have barely scratched the surface. I'd love to do some more in the future though. So once again, that's it from me for this week. Next week I'll be putting the finishing touches on my Zelda costume and preparing it for its debut at a convention. In the meantime though, I'd love to hear from you if you have any questions or things you've been working on, so send me a message over at the Kapow Facebook page and I'll see you next week.